So how long have you been working for Fryeburg Academy?
So I've been teaching here almost 18 years, except for 2 years when we took a sabbatical, which is a year off. And at that time we went and I taught in Taiwan. So we have a strong connection to Asia and we like to travel. And so for a year in 2014 and a year in 2007, no, that's not right, 2021, 22, during COVID, we were in Taiwan as well.
Wow, so it seems you love Taiwan. Had you been to Vietnam before?
I have never been to Vietnam. I have been to almost every country around Vietnam, but I still am eager to go. And I have so many students that I love from Vietnam, so it is it's on my list of places to get to.
Hopefully you will be there one day.
I would love to.
Yeah. So which subject are you teaching at Fryeburg Academy?
So the main subject I teach is English and English to international students, so second or third or fourth language speakers. We call it ESOL. And then I also teach a history class to those students, and occasionally I teach a science class for those students. But mostly all of those classes are to build their language skills. So we have 4 levels of courses in our department, and the lowest level we call beginner is really someone who has had exposure to English but still feels very uncomfortable speaking to people. Maybe they have some basic reading skills. And then we have what we call that's beginner. Then we have level 2, level 3, and a level of English that is the same as American level students. It's an English literature course, but when international students come, sometimes they're overwhelmed so much that we have a smaller class, and it's all international students. They're still doing book reading, essay writing. So we call that a transitional level of English.
Yeah, that makes sense. And so when the students study and join in your class, so what is the average number of the students normally in one of your class?
We limit our department to 12 students in a class usually. This year we have so many students that I have 1 or 2 classes that are 13. But we try to keep our classes small, and my smallest class is 4. So that's a pretty good range, and that's beginners. We really want beginners to have a lot of teacher connection and a lot of experience and chance to speak, right?
So you have been working for Fryeburg for 18 years already. That means in the last 18 years you have been working with so many Vietnamese students. What do you feel about Vietnamese students?
Yeah, Vietnamese students, I have referred to Vietnamese students as TV, that is Team Vietnam, because they always work well together. They always work well with other people. They have been key to the club that I lead, International Club, for many years. They have been very involved in both teaching about Vietnam to other students and learning about other countries that they are curious about. What I like about our school is we have a wide variety of students from around the world, and they teach and learn from each other as much as I do. They live in the dorm together, and Vietnamese kids are always open and friendly. They're hardworking students. They often lead the clubs, especially in STEM areas, and they work hard in my classes, and I have good relationships with every Vietnamese student I've ever had.
Is it easy for you, because I can see that a lot of Vietnamese students, they are shy and they do not want to speak out in front of public. How do you think about that, and how you can help them to speak, to share their opinion about the lecture, about anything surrounding them?
Yeah, because our classes are small, we often have group discussions, and I always ask them to speak equally in your group. So somebody is counting how many times does everyone speak, or take turns listening and then responding. I agree with you because, or I disagree because. And so we go through that kind of formal process of discussion where everybody in the classroom has to speak, so it's required. But oftentimes they are happy to say things too. I think it's true that if I were to generalize, Asian students tend to be quieter in class. Maybe they've learned to be good listeners, but not necessarily good participants at home. So that's a big change coming to America. But in our classes, we keep them small so they can practice more.
That's right. Well, thank you so much for your time today to share with us about what do you think and the experience in the last 18 years working at Fryeburg Academy, and especially about the opinion about Vietnamese students.